Hi, today we're going to be taking a look at automating maturity models with a view to rapidly improving capabilities. I'm Graham McLeod from inspired.org. So, we've been leveraging maturity assessments for quite a few years in the industry. The idea first came out of work with Carnegie Mellon software development capability maturity models, which were commissioned to try to improve the productivity and quality in the software development industry. From there, the idea grew and was subsequently applied to many other disciplines, including enterprise architecture, business architecture, data management maturity, and others. The idea of a maturity model is that we look at the capabilities and the characteristics of an organization that performs at a very high level, and we try to see whether an organization under assessment has those capabilities and those behaviors or not. They're arranged into levels, and generally an assessment will try to determine the score or the level at which an organization is performing. By then looking at the areas where we are not performing well, we can generally find the things we need to do to help us move to the next level. So it's a quick way to assess the performance of an organization and to highlight the areas that need attention, and then to track progress to improve performance. In terms of our own activity, we've used the maturity models in consulting for many years. We ourselves enhanced the models for data and information maturity and digital readiness. We also developed new models for application landscape and pandemic readiness. And we've developed calculating or algorithms for calculating scores and graphs for representing the results. And we also innovated by adding guidance to the models so that they can provide suggestions for what your activities should be based upon the results of the assessment. From that, we can determine suggested priorities, select actions, and then potentially generate an action plan. We also leveraged our EVA, that's Enterprise Value Architect, modeling and knowledge management platform, to create support for the assessment of maturity models, the scoring, etc. And that is based upon a unique meta model. If you are using EVA for other purposes like enterprise architecture and project management, then you can integrate the maturity models with those dimensions. The EVA platform itself is a powerful SaaS-based repository modeling and knowledge management tool. It's meta-model driven, so that allows us to customize it and apply it to many application areas, including business and enterprise architecture, information architecture, application architecture and portfolio management, risk management, program management, and consulting practice management. Because of its adaptability, it is quick to deploy and easy to customize. The licensing is relatively affordable, and the tool offers full security. We developed a meta model to underpin the maturity models and assessments, and that allows us to hold the various maturity models as data in the tool, and that allows the tool then to create the user interfaces, reports, and results to assist with the maturity modeling. Just a quick illustration of how that works. The questions making up the concern areas and the maturity layers in the model are held as a question bank in the repository. The EVA tool retrieves those, presents the questionnaires to the user. The user ranks their situation on the presented questions. That information goes back into the tool together with scoring algorithms which form part of the model, and the tool ranks the score of the organization, generates a plot, and also generates a set of guidance tables which contain information about what the organization should do in order to improve its performance, particularly in those areas where it's not done so well. The algorithm will also calculate those items which we would prioritize based upon the fact that they are lower effort and or that they support multiple areas of poor performance. The tool gives the user the opportunity to select from the priority suggestions those topics that the organization actually does want to pursue. So with those selections, we can then provide for capture of associated resources and potential timeframes. The tool can also provide links to available services or resources to help with those activities. These might include training, reference models, tooling, etc. And then using the user selections together with the priorities and the task descriptions, we can generate a draft project plan which can be done either as a CSV file for input to other tools like MS Project, or we can actually take that forward in EVA itself as a program plan. Okay, that would typically drive into the project management office environment for us to actually do the work to improve the capabilities and track the progress. I'm going to switch now to a live demo. In that, we'll be showing you how we present a model, what the assessment results look like, what the guidance looks like, how the priority recommendations are done, how we choose activities, and then we'll show you also an associated heat map for capabilities and integration with the program milestone chart. So I'm going to switch now to the live tool, and we're going to go first to a maturity model assessment, and here I've chosen to do a data management maturity model. So here we're going to select the characteristics that best match our organization, and you'll see each row gives us a core concern, and then each column is increasing levels of maturity, and the characteristics of that concern or that area in an organization at that maturity level will give us a take on where the organization is at. So I'm going to select some pretty much at random here. You'll see we can select, deselect. Actually, you can even select more than one adjacent cell if we wish to. Sometimes parts of the organization are at different levels. And then I'm going to go through and select the characteristics of this organization. Obviously, in practice, this will be done much more carefully, and in fact, often in a facilitated group session where there can be considerable discussion around these topics and reaching consensus. Okay, once we have made our choices, found the areas where we are doing well and not so well, we then submit that. That goes into the scoring algorithm. The tool assesses the results and gives us feedback. First thing that we get is a graph which shows our performance relative to ideal. So you can see in this case we've got a fairly decent score on data modeling, not that great on data quality, but not terrible. We are deriving a reasonable amount of value from information, but it could improve. Data governance can improve, and information architecture not that strong either. We'll then get detailed scores for each of the dimensions out of the possible, and that's the ranking. We can also then look at the recommended actions, and the recommended actions will tell us where we are in a particular dimension, what score we've got, what the next level would be, and what the actions are to help us get there. The action can have an associated relative effort, and obviously we want to do those things that have relatively low effort and will move us forward in the areas where we are performing the worst. So we get all our recommended actions. You'll see some are quite easy things, some are much harder, but it's a very good guide to what will help us to perform better across the board. Okay, we can also then switch to priority recommendations. And here the tool will offer us the ability to see which things are recommended to do immediately, which things we should do in the medium term, and which things we should probably do later. So you'll see here we will have things that are recommended to do immediately. These are in areas where we've scored particularly low, but there is guidance that can help us, and it's relatively low effort. So the algorithm will prioritize things that assist in multiple areas that are relatively low effort and that address areas of poor performance. We'll get about 10 top priority tasks, and then the next tier and subsequent ones later. What we'll also see is that we can have links to help that might be available. This could be consulting, training, resources, models, etc. that would assist with this particular activity. So we may want to drill down to there to see what's available. Then the tool also offers you the ability to save this assessment, which will allow you to name it and associate it with an organization. It would then be stored privately in the repository, and it can be subsequently retrieved when required. You'll see also that there is a print view offered. So if you want to print this, you can actually get a nicely formatted printed report from it. But we've also got another trick up our sleeve, which is to, in the priority view, make selections. So I can now go through and say, yes, I want to do that, yes, I want to do that, yes, I want to do that, I want to do that, and I want to do that. I may even also choose some things from later tranches. Having made my selections, I can then submit those, and that will then generate a form for me to capture potential timing of these tasks in terms of weeks. So I want to do that in week 1 up to 4, this in week 4 to 6, this in week 2 to 10, and so on. I can also put in here recommended resources. This could be something like Peter Landsman and Jeremy Fox, and or resources that we may want to use, such as an external partner, or we can put down potential tooling, reference models, etc. Having done that, we can then provide a file name and we can download that plan. That will be in CSV format if I want to do that, and you can see it sent me the file as a download. Or we could go forward and integrate this information in the EVA tool itself. I'm going to illustrate that shortly by switching to another environment where I've done that, and this gives you an idea of the dashboard for general information architecture within the EVA environment. And you can see we've got many capabilities there to deal with various aspects of data. For now, I'm just going to show a couple of views which will be interesting. So here we've got a data management capability hierarchy, this is nested, so it's showing me data management capabilities nested as a hierarchy. They've been ranked with the scores in terms of how well or poorly we think we are doing those at the moment. And then behind the scenes for these, we have linked the programs and projects that will address those. Those were derived from the scores from the maturity matrix. Closing that view down, or just before we do that, we could from here drill into these tasks or these capabilities, see what sub-capabilities they involve, what status we have for them at the moment, and various other characteristics if we so wish. Closing that and going to the program view, we can also generate views that would give us a perspective on programs, projects, and we can go to a third level of tasks or artifacts within there, and that will then give us a milestone view. We can also specify the duration and the granularity, and you can see we've got a data management capability program within which we've got several projects, and the projects are mapped into the time frames. If we have statuses, we can reflect those into the chart. We can also have other details reflected as columns, such as here we've chosen to have artifacts that are being produced by these projects. We can also drill down from here to particular projects, and we'd be able to get to all the details of the project, to see which program it's part of, to see what it supports in terms of capability, look at resources, and so forth. So I think this illustrates that you can tightly integrate the maturity capabilities into features in the tool and in other dimensions. I'm going to switch back to the presentation view and just wrap with the benefits of using maturity models. They give us a very quick and easy client engagement opportunity if we are consultants, either external or internal. Within a matter of hours, we can actually engage in a very meaningful way, get clear perspective on where an organization is at, also demonstrate expertise, add value with very little effort, and of course identify the opportunities for improvement internally, or opportunities for services if we are providing services. It also allows us to compare across organizations, because these models are derived from recognized ones, and therefore we can get meaningful scores that we can compare. By storing the models, we can also track our progress over time and see how we're doing. The advantages of using the platform, of course, are ease of access to the models, automation, which reduces skill requirements, being able to survey, come up with recommendations, use decent scoring algorithms, and be able to home in on key areas very, very quickly, to support the integration with planning and tracking, and of course to track progress towards higher capabilities over time. And the platform will of course host multiple surveys, also of different types, so we can address areas such as data, application, enterprise architecture, etc. In fact, what models do we have? This is a list of what we currently have on the left. You can see quite a few, and we also are planning to extend this to dealing with skill and capability assessments, business health checks and improvement, and process health checks and improvement. So please feel free to contact us. You can find more information on our website. You can link with me on LinkedIn if you would like to, and keep us in mind. We specialize in transformative business strategy integrated with executable architecture, especially business architecture, and empowering methods that deliver desirable business change. So I hope you found that interesting, and we hope to connect with you in future and show you how this works. Take care.